Hey everybody, come on in, we need to talk. Come on in guys, like and share. This will be the last episode of the Daily Bern. But I have an announcement to make. This is an end, but it's also a beginning. So come on in, we're going to talk a little bit. I know we need to. Nissa, man down. Me and Stormy are crying for my grandkids. There is a man down. We'll go ahead and get into that. Let's just rip off the Band-Aid. Bernie Sanders. Let me turn this music down. If you haven't heard yet, about an hour ago, Bernie Sanders dropped out of the race for president. Bernie Sanders has left our revolution. Now, this just happened. I haven't finished processing yet, as I'm sure a lot of you haven't. But, hey Slace, I have processed it enough in the past hour. One of the main things that's going to happen moving forward, hey Dion, is we continue forward. We don't stop. Now, I said a minute ago that this was going to be the last episode of the Daily Bern, but it is not the last episode of this show. I started out in the old set because we've spent 263 episodes coming from this set, and I was afraid that this day would come. I was worried that this day would come. It's been in the back of my mind for a while. But 263 episodes of this show, it has been a very hard challenge doing this show. And once I get to the announcement, I don't know why that message was held for review, Nissa, but we'll get back to that when we get to the censorship part of today's show. But I just distracted myself, so I lost my train of thought. But what I'm trying to say is, well, let me just go ahead and show you. This is the last episode of the Daily Bern, but it is the first episode of the War Room until I come up with a better name. This revolution doesn't stop. Bernie Sanders did a fantastic job building this revolution up and giving us, empowering us. But now we have gone our separate ways. Bernie has made a decision. He has decided that he is tapping out on this fight. That he decided he couldn't win. I don't really know what he decided. I'm not in the Daily Bern set anymore. The Daily Bern is no longer a show. So I'm free in a lot of ways. You know, I've had to sit here ever since that coup on Super Tuesday and try to make the case on why Bernie Sanders should stay in the race. What he did today was incredibly irresponsible. There is no way for Joe Biden to win, and there is no way for anything progressive to happen on that path. Politics died to me an hour ago. And I never thought we would win this in the voting booth. But this has just become vest. We've been talking about that for months, how this is Bernie or vest. This is not Bernie or bust. Well, this just became vest. We have to stand up. We have to defend ourselves. We have to do what needs to happen, and we have to make these changes take place. Our society is driven by greed and a predatory nature, and it must be brought to an end. Now, no one but us can do it. And Bernie may have went his separate ways, but that doesn't put a stop to our fight. Don't let that break you. I'm still upset. I still am churning inside. I'm still shaking. But I know that this revolution cannot and never has hinged on Bernie Sanders. Now, I appreciate what he's done. I appreciate the work he's put in throughout his life. But I'm moving on without him. And I hope everyone else understands that we must. Ginger said, did he endorse Biden? I couldn't watch the whole feed. I really couldn't. I tried to sit with it. I tried to watch him explain what his reasons were, but I couldn't. What I heard is he called him a decent man. And like Helen says, what he said was he said Biden's going to be the nominee. Well, that's quitter talk. And Bernie made the decision that he had to make for whatever reasons he had to make it. And I decided a while back, once I started seeing this coming, and I haven't been lying to you guys on the Daily Bern. I believed that it was the only thing that made sense for Bernie to continue forward. And it is. What he did today makes no sense. It was an irresponsible decision by a man that has good intentions. I don't believe that he was sheepdogging, and if he was, he's terrible at it. But the man made a terrible decision today, and our revolution moves forward, with or without Bernie. I don't know how to feel yet. So I'm afraid that something's going to fall out of my mouth because I'm upset. And we all should be upset. We should be furious. Now I am a little mad that Bernie would do this to us again. My thought was for him to take up this fight a second time had to mean that he understood what was at stake here. Had to. But today he proved it didn't. He doesn't feel the same way we do. Dolores says it gives the third party option more time to gather and get going. I can see that, and I understand if that's where you want to go, but I am now done with politics. I am officially done with politics and moving to direct action. I will be preaching that that's the way to go. And if I was to vote at all, I'm just going to go ahead and get this out right now. If I was to vote at all, it would be for Donald Trump at this point. My mission, my immediate mission, and it should be all of ours. I'm pretty sure I probably won't be able to get a lot of you on board, but we need to be focused on destroying the Democratic Party from this point forward. You know, this show just got a lot easier to do. I kind of feel freer in the new set because I felt like I had to play by Bernie's rules when we were the Daily Bern. This is a war. This is a class war. And politics in this country is a complete joke. Now, we had a chance to tear it down from the inside. But that chance is gone now, and the only option is to tear them to the ground, to rip them to shreds. Now, they don't care if Trump wins a second term. Do you think for a second they think Joe Biden can beat Donald Trump? They never thought that. They never did. All they wanted to do was what happened today. Well, they think that'll break us. They think that'll stop us. And we need to show them that nothing will. Absolutely nothing will. I feel the energy going up on this show already. This is a fight. It's always been one. This is class warfare. And the Democratic Party is a private corporation. They've admitted as much. They said it in court. They are. It's a fact. It's not my opinion. It's a fact. And they've told you they don't have to respect the voters. They don't even consider the voters. They could make their decision in the back of a smoke-filled room because they're a business. And we are against everything that they represent. Well, that means half of our democracy is a complete joke, and the other half is just out in the open about it. They don't need to be a business. They're right out in the open that they're in favor of the ultra-rich and moneyed interest and the war machine. Well, we're done with all of that. And voting green, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Voting green isn't really an option because green votes get flipped to blue votes, and that is a fact. We cannot trust these rigged voting machines. And a vote for the Green Party is a vote for Joe Biden. People say it's a vote for Trump, but it's not. They flipped those green votes to Democratic votes in the voting booth. And I know it for a fact. In my county, Very tiny county. Like I told you many times, I'm surrounded by cornfields. Me and my wife voted for Jill Stein in the last election. The final tally showed 0 votes in this county for Jill Stein. Now, my wife may have lied to me, but I voted for Jill Stein. So she should have had 1 vote in this county, but she didn't. Dion says, let's not turn on Bernie. The Dems fucked him every inch of the way. We wouldn't be where we are right now if it wasn't for Bernie. And you are absolutely right. Now, that is what I'm trying to keep in mind. But again, I'm upset. We all are. We're hurt. And the positive that I can take away from this right now is that I don't hate him. I don't hate him for what he did. Angie, he quit. She says he's suspended, not out. He said he was going to continue to get delegates. The story with Tara Reid is not going away. He quit today. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But what he did today, he quit on us. And I'm not turning on him. I'm not mad at him. You're right, Dion. We would not be here if it wasn't for everything that Bernie built for us. But we need to understand that it is now ours. We must do this. We do not stop. We do not despair. We do not allow this to break us. And I'm not saying hate on Bernie. I'm not saying that. And if that's what's coming out, again, I'm upset. I'm angry. And we should be. This revolution must move forward. And it cannot stop. This was never going to be won in the voting booths, guys. I kind of feel like an ass for spending 263 episodes saying that it would. This was always going to come to direct action. And that's where we're at. We have to keep moving forward. We keep doing everything we were doing. Nothing changes for us. The only thing that changes for us is now, instead of electing Bernie Sanders president and going about this that way, we tear the Democratic Party to the ground and destroy them. Now, to announce the other change that I'm really excited about, I'm allowed to smoke in the war room. Slay says his eye looked a little red. Did he get smacked around again? I don't know. I'm not sure. At the very beginning of the feed, he seemed very defeated. I didn't like the look on the man when the feed started. I knew instantly it was over as soon as I saw his face. Ginger says if he wasn't going to call for recounts in all the states with exit polls way off, then why continue anyway? Count our votes or don't take our money. See, I'm a little upset. I got to tell you. And that was the point of the live feed that I had to tap out. When he was sitting there talking about what all of us volunteers have done and the 10 million individual donations to his campaign at $18 a piece. Every one of those donations hurt me, Bernie. Every single one. We're poor people. We reached into our pocket to give so that you would lead this revolution. Well, now it falls on us. And don't tell me that there is not psychological damage to what happened today. This is going to be very hard to overcome and keep moving forward. This is probably the worst thing that could have happened to our revolution. That's why it was incredibly irresponsible for Bernie to do what he did today. And again, this is more of a rant, isn't it? We probably should have been in the rant set. But yeah, I know you have, Ginger, and I apologize to you especially. I was giving that man every opportunity to do the right thing. I believed in him. Now, he did what he did for his own reasons, but he left the fight today. And we can't. I'm kind of mad that we're on lockdown right now because I wanted to do this feed in a vest, but I couldn't go get one. There's a $1,700 fine for leaving my house right now. Even though I do have an essential letter, I am an essential employee, and I could probably pull it off. If I threw my uniform on, I could probably get away with going to Walmart. But Yeah, and that's the other thing, Slace. We can talk about absolutely everything in the war room. See, I'm excited. Honestly, and I don't want this to sound wrong, the Daily Burn was a little bit restrictive to me. A lot of you know that my other passion is conspiracies. I am the conspiracy theory guy. That's my baby. The conspiracy theories and chill. That was my show before I started this. I was never into politics. I know our system is rigged. I knew all of that. But we could have took it down. Bernie could have took it down. And you know, I argue with Trump supporters too all the time, and I've given that man so much credit. And I argue with them because they say over and over again that Bernie doesn't have a backbone. Bernie can't throw a punch. I have to say that it's hard to tell them they're wrong right now. Marie says, every donation was a meal out of my family's mouth. I'm glad my husband only did a couple donations. I believed in him too, that he wouldn't do this to us again. You know, I haven't ripped the bumper stickers off my car yet. I wanted to. I wanted to live stream it. I'm angry. So anybody who isn't okay with emotion probably wouldn't watch me anyway, but probably would want to tap out of this feed. But I've been doing this show for 263 episodes, and I'm going to have a last daily burn. Because I need to let everybody know that we go forward. Carol says Trump's like the Joker, sitting back laughing his ass off. Never vote for that piece of crap. What's your alternative? Now, I either don't vote at all, or I vote to destroy the DNC. I can go with not voting at all. Is that right, Ginger? Bernie's campaign manager was a Podesta homie. Well, then this was a fraud from the very beginning. See, I'm going to end up being mad at Bernie by the end of this feed. I'm trying really hard not to be. I got every right to be. We all do. But we go forward. We keep moving forward. This cannot stop. We cannot lose our momentum. And you know what? The conspiracy person in me, I feel like that little kid on the old cereal commercial, but the conspiracy person in me is screaming that this was done to break our spirit and break our will at a crucial time. I don't know if that's true, but the conspiracy theorist in me is screaming it. Carol says independent. I wish he would. I wish he would. And I wish that we lived in a system where the voting machines weren't used to flip votes from independent, libertarian, Green Party to red or blue. We are in a rigged up two-party system. Our government has been bought off, and it is theater. And we need to organize and rise up. We cannot allow the moneyed people, the predators that lord over us, to break our spirit and break our will. Helen says his campaign was loaded with DNC shills. Dolores says the DNC and Biden are far more dangerous than Trump, and you are absolutely right, Dolores. And matter of fact, I'm going to double down on my voting for Trump decision. They must be taught a lesson, and they must be destroyed. Now, you're going to get either Biden or Trump, whether you like it or not. The enemy is the system, you're right, Dion. But they need to be destroyed. The system needs to be destroyed. They need to be torn down. Darren says, now Tyler and the down ticket candidates now have to stop lying to our injured workers. And now he can get honest with injured workers instead of lying to us about Medicare for All, where Section 801 excludes our injured workers. I would have to read that, Darren. I know you've tried to tell me that before, but I would be very surprised to see a section in Medicare for All that excludes injured workers. I don't know enough to comment on that, but you might be right. Yeah, Ginger. Faze and Weaver have been pressuring him to drop out for a week. He should have fired them both. If he had any backbone, he would have fired them both and replaced them with people with a backbone. He started this fight. Now, this is why I'm upset with Bernie a little bit. He started this fight. He got this ball rolling. And he knew that it was a revolution of the people the entire time because he said it 8, 9 times a speech. He knows enough about our rigged up system with 40 years of experience on the inside to know what this would take. I'm just a dude sitting in a studio in the middle of cornfields in Missouri, and I understood that this was all or nothing. He should not have taken $1 from us if he didn't understand it. To get our hopes up and then to pull the rug out from under us is criminal. What he did today was irresponsible. I'm finding it hard to be mad at him because, again, like Dion said, we wouldn't even be where we were if it weren't for him. We didn't get this far on our own. We didn't put this revolution together. Bernie did. But right when it was crucial and we're winning, he taps out due to pressure. Then he should have never started it. And maybe that's what Tulsi knew. You know? Yeah, Nissa, weed isn't working for me either. I didn't have that much anyway, but it's not touching me right now because I tried to get my mind right before this feed because that's going to stay the same. On the War Room moving forward, I will still try to get my mind right because I still believe we can do this. I am not letting Bernie Sanders dropping out be the end of our revolution. If I end up here screaming like a loon for the next 6 months to myself, someone will eventually start listening to me. Brittany says it's important to not feel defeated. He set us up to lead the revolution. The past 4 years, he's had progressives running for office and winning. People are in and coming in that will be doing everything we fought so hard for. This isn't over. It's far from over. It isn't over, Brittany, but the political end of it is. For me. I'm not excited about these down-ticket progressives anymore. He doesn't know what he did today. You know, a lot of us didn't have, like myself, very much confidence in the political system to begin with. What he did today was incredibly irresponsible. And he put us in a very uncomfortable position. Our only path forward is direct action and to tear down the DNC. He left us no other option. Now, maybe that's what he wanted to do. Maybe you're right. Maybe he set us up to lead the revolution, realized he couldn't lead it anymore, and decided to enrage us. Or maybe, at a crucial moment, he decided to break our spirit. Now, I'm not taking nothing off the table anymore because this moves forward with or without Bernie Sanders. And I've been saying that for weeks because, and again, I apologize to Ginger because she's been screaming it. I saw this coming. And I tried so hard to convince myself that it wasn't. I wasn't lying to you guys. It didn't make any sense. And there was no reason to do it. And you're absolutely right, Ginger. The answer is things like general strike. We need to commit to Yellow Vest protests. We need to organize. And we need to do it rapidly. Because we are running out of time. I'm incredibly angry with Bernie Sanders right now. I'm more and more angry the more I think about it. I keep wanting to go back to what Dion was saying. Because Dion is right. I want to go back to what Dion was saying, and I don't want to be mad. Because he built this. This revolution, he put it together. Yeah, Marie, I knew it was coming. She says, I knew it was coming, but I was fooling myself. Jack says, I'm sure that his life was threatened again by the billionaires of this country. Jack, his life was in danger the entire time. You know what happens to people that empower the people? They kill them. So, Was this orchestrated? Was this controlled opposition? If it was, it's going to backfire on them because they activated millions of people that are now determined to see that that corrupt organization is torn to shreds. Elizabeth says it's too late. We are locked away in our homes afraid of the flu. It is not too late. And we need to talk about that. This coronavirus pandemic, there's much more going on here. This is so freeing being in a new set. Like, I could talk about anything I want now. I always felt like A, I had to watch my mouth, and B, I had to be really careful about what I said. I felt like I had to keep us on the political path and not emphasize what I truly believed all along is that this would end up in the streets. Because you're absolutely right. Yellow vests. And I'm sorry, but that's where this is going. And this lockdown, this shutdown of the country, that's not going to stop. They're not going to quit. They're not going to raise that. Nothing's ever going to be the same. They've been telling you and telling you and telling you that on the news and in the media and MIT reports all over the place. This is the new normal. They never let a good crisis go to waste. And I am not saying, even though there's evidence for it, that they had anything to do with it or prior knowledge. They probably did. But they are using it to their advantage. And they will continue to. Our economy was already crumbling before this virus. And there were worldwide protests happening when this broke out. It all came to an end. Instantly. I'm a little too suspicious to believe that's on the up and up. Yeah, hundreds of millions of dollars, Ginger, Bernie raised from regular people. Regular people who believed enough to reach into their pocket when they couldn't. I know that every time that I donated to Bernie, I'm poor. Every time that I donated to Bernie Sanders, I had to choose between something else. It was never like, ooh, there's an extra $27 in my pocket. Let me kick it up to Bernie. It was, no, I believe in this. I believe in what he's doing, and I'm going to show that by sacrificing and giving to this revolution. And millions of us did that. This is irresponsible what he did today. He'll go his way, we'll go ours. But I'll be damned if I'm going to spend the last daily Bern kissing Bernie's ass because he built this revolution for us. Thank you. Goodbye. We have separate jobs now. I'm going to lose half my audience during this feed. I'm upset. I'm emotional. Please understand that. Given 2 or 3 more days to process this, I may feel differently. Right now I'm angry. And the more I think about how much we sacrificed, the angrier I get. Now, Bernie's life would have been in danger. But dude, how many of us wouldn't have volunteered to stand around that man in a circle and keep him protected? You can't. My mother used to tell me not to start something unless I was going to finish it. That's damn good advice. You don't get something started if you have no intention of seeing it through. That announcement today should have been, I did my best with the Democratic Party. I tried as hard as I could to get them to do the right thing, but they are a corrupt corporation, and today I am ending my candidacy for the Democratic nomination and beginning my candidacy for the independent nomination for President of the United States. If he was a true revolutionary, that's what he would have done. Nothing else makes any sense. So I may come to the conclusion that I can peacefully let Bernie go on his way and not be angry with him and fight the urge to tear up my Bernie stuff and move on. But that's going to take some time. Helen says if you lose half your feet, it's because they're closet blue no matter who's. Good riddance. You're absolutely right. And I've been protecting people from the truth. It was always going to come to direct action. That's why I've been partnering with Bernie Vest since the very beginning of this show. I've always known this would take to the streets, but I felt like that man would stay with us. What was the point of doing this again? Someone explain it to me, because I'm not the brightest light in the house. I'm just brave enough to get in front of a microphone and share my feelings. I'm not an expert. I want to understand what he did today, but I don't. Slay says you're so right. Well, I don't know. What are you talking about losing half my audience? People are going to be mad at me. I've done a lot of running my mouth today. Darren says he was sheepdogging from the get-go. That is why down ticket candidates lie to our injured workers. They're told they had to lie to us. Darren, how do you sheepdog, being the exact opposite of the entire principles that the party you're supposed to be sheepdogging for represents? How is an effective sheepdog going to piss off 10 million people and make them not want to vote for the Democratic Party? How is that effective sheepdogging? I don't get it. And then to stand there in that feed today and talk about how scary Donald Trump is. I don't give a fuck about Donald Trump. I don't care. I'm not scared of Donald Trump. He represents the same system that Joe Biden would. Nothing changes under Trump. The only thing about Trump is he's embarrassing. It's an embarrassment. Well, good. Good. I'm glad. Because that's what you deserve. If you're taking part and you're a blue no matter who, or you think Joe Biden is going to lead us somewhere, you deserve another 4 years of Trump. And it's exactly what you're going to get, because he's going to get ripped to shreds in the debates. And that's another reason why it was irresponsible what Bernie did today, because he knows that for a fact. The man couldn't even make it through a softball debate with Bernie Sanders. Jack, go for a ride on your Harley, man. Get out there and feel good. Marie says I need to reorder my Bernie Would Have Won sticker. I think the smartest thing, and I really hate to say this because I love the man. I'm mad at him right now, but he did build this. Dion's right. But we've went our separate ways. We've went our separate ways. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. We move forward. We keep going. We do what must have to happen here, what needs to happen. We make this change take place. Slay says your talking points. My talking points have to be all over the place. I tried to write an outline for this, but I couldn't come up with one. I didn't know where to start. I didn't know what I was going to talk about. I have no idea. This whole feed has been a rant, and I apologize. If I'm making sense, then that is awesome, because I don't feel like I am. Jack, it is a beautiful day. Are you not on lockdown, Jack? Are you being a rebel right now? Yeah, Elizabeth. If he wanted to win, he would have done what I say he should have done today. He would have cut ties with the Democratic Party and went independent. That's the only responsible thing that he could have done, and he didn't do it. No, he tapped out. Susan, I'm devastated too. I'm very upset, and I may hurt your feelings because I'm being honest about what Bernie did today. And that's all I've ever done on this show. But, Ginger, I'm sorry too. I'm sorry to every damn one of you. And I want you to know I haven't been sitting here lying to you. This is our revolution, and we can do this. I always knew in the back of my mind that Bernie might leave us. I've always tried to stay prepared for that, but I wasn't. When it happened today, I wasn't prepared. But I still know that we must keep moving forward. This is the only way. We can't cave now. We cannot quit. We have to put an end to this system before it puts an end to us. This is class warfare. It was never a damn election. This is a war. And you need to know who your enemies are. You need to realize that we all have the same ones. And these stupid political parties are just to divide us up and keep us weak. Keep us easy to control. We could have took it down. Now that's why I'm saying I wasn't lying to you guys. We could have took it down. He could have won. So your sticker's true. Bernie would have won. But again, I understand that his life would have been in danger the moment he decided to cross them. It's a 78-year-old man, the family. We're in the war room right now, so we can be honest about what would have happened to that man. That's what I was afraid was going to happen. I'm going to go ahead and be honest with you. My biggest fear was that they were going to kill him. Call me crazy. Go ahead. A lot of people do. A lot of people forget that I'm the conspiracy theory guy, but that is a historical fact. That is what they do to those people. And it always has been. That's what I was afraid of. But I was giving him a lot of credit because that would have taken him standing up to them. Yes, Lace, an activist would go out swinging. I said that the first time. A real activist would have never quit right now. I'm not interested in politics. I'm not interested in what he can do in the Senate. I'm interested in this revolution. And if he truly understood how important what's going on right now is, he wouldn't have been able to do what he did today. He thinks he's going to save us in the Senate. He's sadly misled. How could you be in this system for 40 years and not realize what's going on? Yeah, Sherry, you can't win when it's rigged that much. But if he would have announced today that he was going third party, instead of backing out, he could win. We could have won. Yeah, Marie, every time I watched him at a rally, it was the fear in the back of my mind. Call me crazy, but Susan, I am disappointed in him too. You know, that's how I feel. You know how your parents used to tell you that? I'm not angry at you. I'm disappointed. Well, I understand it today. I'm beyond angry. I am disappointed. And it would really do no good to be angry at him anyway. We don't even have time for that. This must continue forward. We must keep moving. So that's what we're going to do. And if you feel the same way, then this show will be here for you. Because I wish I had my yellow vest. We're moving forward. And we're moving to direct action. And we're moving away from politics. I am. I hope you'll join me. And hope you'll join me in destroying the Democratic Party. Not just making sure that Joe Biden doesn't win, which is also our duty, but destroying the Democratic Party. Tearing it down. Bringing it to an end. That's what we do now. And the media. All of our enemies. And we move to direct action. We move to general strikes. We move to boycotts. We start organizing ourselves and hurting them where it counts, where they care. So we're free now, if you really think about it. We're free from the chains of this rigged up political system in this country. We have a mission. We have to destroy the Democratic Party. I really believe that's a key point in our mission. Not to stop Joe Biden. To tear down and end the Democratic Party entirely. They are an enemy of democracy, and they stand in the way of progress. They are a gatekeeper, nothing more. They do not represent our interest, and they must be destroyed. Ginger says people will be heartbroken. Please make sure they're okay. She's absolutely right. Check on all your burner friends today. That's how I found out. One of my friends, Helen, asked me if I was okay. I didn't even know why yet. Helen's very up on the news, but she knew before me. Reach out, make sure people are okay, and make sure they know that we don't stop. We keep going. We must unite. Bernie did do a lot, as Dion said. He empowered us. He showed us what to do. Carol, it's not turning red. The Democratic Party is not our ally. They are a gatekeeper. They are to keep progressive values from ever moving forward. That is a fact, and they need to be destroyed. Darren says 2 presidential cycles. Injured workers beg for folks to help us with our issue, only to be told our issue cannot be on the table with Medicare for all. Again, I don't know enough about that. I can't imagine that that's accurate. I'm not saying that you're wrong, but please send it to me. Please let me see that. Send me a link to that. I would love to see that information, because Medicare for all means all, doesn't it? Unless I've been severely misled. Susan says I'm going to drown myself in vodka today. Well, don't go that way. That's a depressant. Go with marijuana. Cannabis is your friend. Take your vitamins. Carol, it's not turning red, though. I want you to understand, it's not turning red. Biden cannot be president. That would be irresponsible for us to allow to begin with. Biden must be stopped. But that's not enough. The Democratic Party must be destroyed. Now, I'm open to ideas. I would love to hear any ideas that you guys have. But they are an enemy of democracy, and they must be destroyed. Ginger says the Democratic Party is where progressives go to die. And she's absolutely right. This was their last chance. Their very last chance. No, Biden won't win. But I'm going to make sure of it. And I hope that millions of people understand that we must continue forward. We must keep going. Don't let yourself be broken down by what happened today. Well, I sat here and vented for 45 minutes. And hopefully I made some kind of sense. What I really wanted to say is that this keeps going. So we may not be the Daily Bern anymore, but we are still about making this change happen. We still believe in this. Yeah, no, we Dem exit, for sure. The DNC must be destroyed. Susan, we're not screwed, though. We're not. Bernie kind of alluded to it today, but I don't think he fully understands it either, because I'm done giving that man more credit than he deserves at this point. So if he understood it, he would have stayed with us. But we can win this. We can make this change happen. It's going to be a little messier now, but we still can do it. I hate seeing that, though, for people to feel that way. Ginger's so right. Make sure you check on your friends today. Helen says Trump and pressure for the GND and infrastructure. He's already talking about it. If we saddle Trump with a progressive Senate and Congress, or House, whatever, I don't even know the right way to say it. I'm too upset. But if we saddled him with a progressive Senate, he would come our way. He's a windsock. He just wants to be liked. Elizabeth says, good to see you guys are now out of a bad relationship. Work on yourself. Focus on what you can do. I've been saying that every episode too. You're one part in a movement of millions. And you still are. Nothing changed. The only thing that changed is our leader stepped down. Well, if someone needs to move into his place, let's start taking nominations. Let's move someone into his place. Someone needs to keep us focused, to keep us moving forward. If we can't do it ourselves. But just understand that we can make change. We can. And you can change your individual realities. Helen says he wants our votes and wants to spank Dems' ass as much as we do. Well, he got mine. I never thought he would. And it's not out of supporting the man. So Clinton, if you watch this, it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with destroying the Democratic Party. Nina, it's a good nomination. I would love to hear from Nina today. That would be something I would love to hear from. Somebody I would love to hear from today is Nina Turner. Carol says Trump is a dictator wannabe. I don't think so. I think people attribute more to Trump than he deserves. I think Trump is an incompetent man who is like, there's a meme where they show a turtle on top of a fence post, and, you know, it's like he has no idea how he got here. He's just there. Someone put him there. He was supposed to lose. Hillary was supposed to win. Donald Trump won because we held our ground and because they rigged their primary and they didn't do enough to make it happen. So Trump won. I think the most shocked person on election night was Donald Trump. And I don't attribute supervillain qualities to the man. I just don't. I don't think he's an evil villain. I think they're using him to brainwash the people. And he makes a damn good boogeyman. That's what I think about him. Again, I don't like him. Ginger says I'll vote green regardless. Does it concern you? Do you think I'm crazy, for one, that the votes for Green Party are flipped to Democratic? And if you don't think I'm crazy, does that concern you? He says, hello, Mr. Highlander. Well, I'm the only one now. Susan says, I can't believe he is abandoning us so soon. I feel like my grandpa died. I was much more upset the first time. I'm only 2 hours in, but the first time, I was devastated. Completely devastated. This time, the only thing that really concerns me is that we keep in mind that we keep moving forward. That we don't stop. That we don't get broken down. Because anything the media could have done, I never would have worried about that breaking our spirit. But this is the kind of thing that could. And that concerns me because we can't stop. We have to keep moving forward. We're in a class war, and for us to give up is not an option. It's not an option. We're under attack, and we must fight back. We must do all we can to fight back against this system. Ginger says a percentage of them do get flipped to Democrat, but not mine. No. Yours are protected. And it's I understand doing it. I do. That's why I did it last time. I voted for the Green Party because I wanted them to get their 5%, and I believe that they did. But it's not going to be given to them. Babels is here. Hey, Babels. Helen says in Illinois, green votes definitely get flipped blue. Trump it is. You're damn right they do. They do. And it's not a conspiracy. These voting machines are rigged. And it's theatrics. Does anybody in this room right now believe that the Green Party didn't get 5% in 2016 with as many voters as they disenfranchised and drove to the Green Party? Do you believe that they didn't? I don't. There's a lot of stuff I would believe before I believe that. And you're right, Heath. This is a real kick in the gut, but we keep moving forward. We can't give up all we've accomplished because Bernie quit. We're in a class war. We keep moving forward. Darren says the Green Party failed us too. Yeah, Helen, they got at least 5%, probably more. You're absolutely right. But it's rigged. And the whole damn system is. Everything is rigged against us. Everything. Yep. We all know they did. They did get the 5%. The Greens were robbed. We were robbed. And we were just robbed again. Susan says she's beyond voting ever again. I don't blame you. Politics is over for me. Only way that I will do anything in politics is if it fits into direct action. If there's a reason behind why I'm voting. I will never, ever, ever let someone convince me that they are going to fight for me again. Because Babos, he quit because it's rigged, and it would have taken somebody who was willing to punch back to continue the fight. And I hate to say it like that, but that's the truth of it. And if Bernie really didn't feel like he could swing when this started, it was irresponsible to ever begin. And you're right, Carol, this is not a free country. We have to fight and keep moving forward. We are in danger if we don't. It is time for self-defense. And I know that Darren is extremely worried about injured workers. And I hate to point that out, but it's more than injured workers that are at stake here, Darren. The entire population is at stake here and in this fight. I get that that's a issue that you're passionate about. I don't mean to disparage it. It's a very important issue. But this is about all of us standing together and standing united. And if Bernie had a clause in Medicare for All that excluded injured workers, and you're right, that's off the table now. Because our version of Medicare for All wouldn't have that in it. And it's now our responsibility. So I'll look at it. I'll see what you're saying about this clause 801 in the Medicare for All, but that part, I'm not ignoring your comments. I just want you to know it's just irrelevant at this point because Bernie's no longer in this fight with us. But this fight moves forward. Darren says 1 in 4 of us becomes an injured worker and fight for Social Security disability. No, it's true. And I again, agree with you that it's a very important issue. Ginger says, may not vote either, but I said I'd get off Facebook a lot after 2020. Woohoo, that means an early summer. Oh, you're leaving Facebook? Babel says, so he's a quitter. That pisses me off. Regardless, he quit on us. He did. He did. And Babels is blunt, you know. It's a fact, though. When we needed Bernie to stay with us the most, he folded. And that is why this show is no longer called The Daily Bern. Because we cannot hinge our revolution on one man. Susan, I didn't mean to like that comment. That's sad. But I do want to like this one. Dem exit, guys. We need to send a message today. So if you are in a closed primary state, Dem exit. And make it known that you will work actively to destroy the Democratic Party. Not to beat Joe Biden, to tear the Democratic Party to the ground. No, Ginger, you're right. They don't want our elections fixed. This isn't broken. It was built this way. We have to tear it down. We can't stop because Bernie stopped. We must keep moving forward, and we will. And that is why this show is now called The War Room. And we're much freer. We can talk about what we really need to do instead of the theatrics of taking part in this election process. We need to expose it for what it is. Make sure everybody understands the Democratic Party is a fraud and expose them. Helen says, last cycle proved he didn't need their war chest. He had never intended to fight them. I have to agree with you, Helen. I don't understand what he was doing. I don't want to read into it too much. But Ginger's right. He never mentioned election rigging. He never mentioned the dramatic differences in the exit polls. His lawyers might have been focusing on that, but from the very get-go this time in Iowa, they have been screwing us over in dramatic fashion, and he allowed it. So stepping down today without acknowledging that was a punch in the gut to us. Again, he's a 78-year-old man, and I respect his decision to go on and live his life. Whatever made him make that decision, I'll never know. But we don't stop, we don't quit, and we keep moving forward. Marvina says, we followed him to the end last time. We still would have. We are fighters. We are the 99%. We're going to have to prove that now. And we will. So this voice moving us forward will stay around. I'm not going nowhere. The show is now called The War Room because I want to be a little bit more specific about exactly what's going on. We are at war. This is class warfare, and we must do all we can to make it succeed, because this is our time. Whether Bernie understood that or not doesn't change a damn thing. Now, it could have been controlled opposition, and this could have all just been to break our spirit, but we won't allow it. We cannot allow it. We must keep moving forward. Darren says, thanks. When you get a chance, check out the Fight for Our Injured Workers. Peace and sorry. Shit fell through. I really did like Sanders, but I was also calling him out while others laughed at me. Yeah, Carol, nothing else matters anymore. We have to move forward, united, and stand against this greed. Take it down, or it will undo us. It will be our undoing. Susan, if you need to talk, reach out to me. Everybody reach out to their Bernie friends today, like Ginger was saying. People are going to be very upset. People are going to be crushed. We need to keep everybody united and everybody focused that this doesn't end with Bernie Sanders. Matter of fact, it's just got a little easier for us. We have less that we have to worry about. And we can focus on what's really important, and we can start making these changes right now. So keep moving forward, keep doing all you can, and come back at 7 for the very first episode of The War Room. And I'll see you then. Yeah, babes, get me my yellow vest too. It's vest time. We were burning your vest, we are now at vest. So that was the message of this stream. That's what I wanted to let you guys know. And come back at 7 tonight for the very first episode of The War Room. I'll see you guys later on. Be careful out there, and like I said, reach out to our Bernie friends and make sure everybody's okay. Keep fighting, guys.